stand for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, call the roll, please.
Burns.
Here.
Collins.
Here.
Cottle. Herbie.
Here.
Holt.
Yeah.
Johnson.
Here.
Safford.
Here.
Is there a motion? Councilwoman Herbie.
I would move to excuse Councilwoman Cottle.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we excuse Councilwoman Collins. Is there any discussion on the motion? Councilwoman Cottle. Is there any discussions?
I have a question.
Mr. Burns?
Seeing that we have received some notification which has expired of Councilwoman Cottle's condition, have we got any updates from her related to any extended leave?
The first notification, and I believe this was in the form of an email, was sent to Clerk of Council, and it gave a return date, a date through March 21st. Subsequently, a second email was received by Clerk of Council extending that through May 27th. Is that correct? Yeah.
So that goes from January, end of January through
May 27th.
May 27th.
All right.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion to excuse Councilwoman Cottle, let it be known by the sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
The motion passes 5-1. Next item on the agenda, item number 2 is minutes. You should all have received copies of your minutes. Are there any corrections and or additions to the minutes? Hearing none, minutes will stand approved as presented. Next item on the agenda is item number 3, presentations. Under presentation, we have 1, April business of the month, Duke Nugent State Farm Insurance. Mr. Brim?
Mr. Mayor, and you can say, I don't think Duke was able to join us tonight, so I'll make sure that he gets it. I am happy to announce that we've selected Duke Nugent State Farm Insurance as our April business of the month. As many of you know, Duke has been working with Forest Park families and businesses for over 26 years. As a State Farm agent since 1991, he has a wealth of experience and can help with any of the following products and services: auto insurance, home insurance, property insurance, business and life insurance, health insurance, banking products, financial planning, and annuities. State Farm was founded in 1922 by retired farmer insurance salesman George Jacob G.J. Merkley, and today the company insures more cars and homes than any other insurer in the United States. A mutual company focused on its policyholders, State Farm is currently ranked number 41 on the Fortune 500 list of largest companies. Originally a single-line auto insurance company, the firm offers nearly 100 products and services to help companies manage today and prepare for tomorrow. Duke's background is actually quite impressive. I had lunch with him today and learned that in addition to more than 2 decades as an insurance expert, he actually has a BS in chemical engineering from the University of California at Berkeley and an MBA from the University of Cincinnati. However, what truly distinguishes Duke from other insurance agents is his determination to his clients and his commitment to our community. In addition to being a successful entrepreneur, Duke has been an active member of the Forest Park Chamber of Commerce and several other community groups. Indeed, he's always willing to lend a hand and help out. To borrow a line from the company's tagline, like a good neighbor, Duke's always there. Congratulations to Duke, his entire team, for all of their years of service. And again, I will make sure that Duke receives this award. It's nice to have one of our small business people be recognized like this, so I'll make sure that he receives it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next order of business is item number 4, communications from the public. This is a time for citizens to comment on matters before council or to ask questions of concern to them. When recognized, please come forward to the podium, give your name and address, and then state your comment or questions. Council meetings are tape recorded for ease of transcription, and comments are limited to 5 minutes. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address council? If you would, sir, there should be a sheet up there if you would sign in.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, my name is Dan Siegel. I'm a volunteer for the Center for Addiction Treatment, or as we are better known, the Cat House. You cannot pick up a newspaper, hear the news, or any of the other media today without some reference to the heroin epidemic that is so infiltrating our community. Ohio has the unfortunate distinction of being the state with the most overdose deaths from heroin and opiates. And Hamilton County leads the state in the most overdose deaths. It is widely recognized that we cannot arrest our way out of this epidemic, and that a strong community response depends on having enough treatment available to make a difference. CAT has a 47-year history of providing treatment to adults with an addiction, including alcohol and drugs. And CAT is also in the process of building more treatment capacity. A new building is being constructed on our 3-acre campus. We so far have raised $4.6 million out of a goal of $5.8 million. Because no community is spared the heartache of lives lost to addiction, we are approaching all local governmental bodies in Hamilton County to support and to help finish out this campaign. We are asking you to consider a contribution to help us complete the campaign. I would like to introduce to you Sandy Keene, CEO and President of the Cat House, to briefly share with you some of the services that CAT currently offers and the new services being planned for our new campus. And we also afterwards have some materials that we can leave with you to look over. Thank you.
I'll sign this one finished. Hi, good evening. My name is Sandy Keene, and I do have the honor of being the president and CEO of the Center for Addiction Treatment, located right outside downtown Cincinnati in the West End. Our services are very unique in that we provide medical detox. We have 18 beds for that currently. The whole state only has 200 certified detox beds, and we have 18 in our county. We do residential rehab. It's what the public thinks of when they hear the word rehab. So our patients are living with us for at least 28 days and then either moving on to another level of care or transitioning to safe and sober housing or back into their own residential area and coming back to us for additional services because they generally need more than the 28 days. We are the gambling, we're certified for gambling addiction here in the county. When you see those billboards that say, have a problem gambling and call 1-800 yada, 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 that number actually goes to Cleveland, and when they find out the residents of the caller, they'll send that call to CAT, and we do addiction treatment for gambling also. What Dan said is correct in that we never have enough capacity. In all of our 47 years, there's never been enough treatment capacity to meet the need of the community. And it's even worse now with the number of heroin and opiate addicts that we have in our community. So what we're doing is building a brand new facility on our 3-acre campus. That building will contain all outpatient services. So in addition to the medication-assisted treatment program, we'll have mental health counseling, and we'll also be providing a primary care clinic that's targeted specifically to people who are in early sobriety and recovery, because too often the medical community doesn't understand addiction in relation to the other pieces of that person's health. So the plan is to have an integrated service there on our campus. We currently can provide services last year to 1,700 patients in a year. With the completion of the expansion, we're looking at between 6,000 and 7,500 people. A lot of those will be in our primary care, but the addition of the other addiction services will really be able to meet more of the need. Never enough, but more of the need that we have now in our community. I took the opportunity to look at our admissions criteria or census from last year for the last 12 months, and there were 17 people who were admitted into our residential program who had this zip code of 40. If you have another zip code in your city, I wasn't aware of that, so I didn't look that up. So the need is everywhere. It's not located in any one place in our community. It's quite widespread. I am aware that a contribution that the city could make could come out of drug forfeiture dollars, if that would be your choice, because we do prevention as well as treatment. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you might have them. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, how many beds does Hamilton County currently have?
We have the 18 detox beds, and then we have 42 residential beds. When the expansion is completed, I can add another 15 detox beds to go up to 33. There aren't any other short-term residential services in Hamilton County. There are some long-term residential services, and I'm not aware of how many beds they actually have, but there's a couple that take only women, and then there's one that takes only men. We take both genders within our service.
So what's the time difference between short-term and long-term stay?
The state defines short-term as anything 30 days or less. Doesn't really have an upper end for long-term. There are some programs that they'll stay a year or 2 years. The intensity of the clinical care is really what differentiates a short-term from a long-term. With short-term, the patient is getting a lot of clinical care in a short period of time. With a long-term, it may not even be clinically staffed. It may just be staffed by people in recovery, sort of like a peer kind of relationship.
So you're a short-term facility. Is that first-time users, so to speak, or what determines whether someone's going to need short-term or long-term? And what's your recidivism rate?
One question at a time. What determines the level of care? We use a criteria that's based on the addiction medicine criteria, and that goes through several different types of indicators, if you will. And just randomly, do they have medical issues beyond just their addiction? Do they have a safe place to live? Have they had periods of sobriety in the past? And if so, how long? Those kinds of things are pieces of information we get out of our initial assessment, and that helps determine what level of care is appropriate for them. So not everyone is appropriate for short-term residential. Generally, those are going to be patients who need a safe place, but also really need the intense education around treatment. Longer term, they've gotten some of those issues, and maybe they are higher on a hierarchy of change. A lot of the times that we get patients who are just, they know they have a problem, but they're really not sure that they want to do anything about it yet. Our job is to help them move to the next level of change so that they want to change, and that we can give them the tools they can use to do that. In terms of recidivism, it's a different kind of measure. This is a chronic relapsing disease. We expect relapse at some point. It's no different in terms of the relapse than any other chronic health condition, like asthma, hypertension, diabetes, obesity. Those are all behavioral medical issues also, and they also have relapse rates. So for us, relapse is another chance to move them higher onto that change continuum.
Okay, thank you. You said you had some, okay, if you would you hand them to the lady right there? She'll make sure that we all get them. Is there anyone else from the public who would like to address council? Thank you all both very much for coming.
Thank you.
Presenting that to us, and we will follow up with the staff. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is report of standing committees. The first of those is Public Safety Committee. I have no report, but I will answer any questions if there are any. The next committee report is Public Improvement and Facilities Committee. Mr. Southall.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do not have any report for public improvement facilities this time, but I'll be answering questions if there would be any.
Any questions for Mr. Southall? Mr. Southall, I have no items on the agenda for you for the work session for the next work session, which would be the 24th. Do you have any to add?
No, I do not have any necessarily for the next work session, but I would like to indicate that if not the next work session, give staff its opportunity to give us a report on the mall, if there's any progress or any movement at all there.
Okay. Mr. Hodges will take note of that. Thank you, sir. Next report is item C, Ways and Means Committee, Councilwoman Herbie.
No report.
Any questions for Councilwoman Herbie? Hearing none, Councilwoman Herbie, I have no items on the agenda for you for the next work session. Do you have any to add?
No, sir.
Item D, Community Development, Mr. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have no report this evening.
Any questions for Mr. Burns? Hearing none, Mr. Burns, I have one item on the agenda for the next work session. That's the Hamilton County Planning Partnership. Do you have any others to add?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Next, item E, Law Committee, Councilwoman Collins.
I have no report.
Councilwoman Regina Collins, we have an emergency at the House. I'm sorry.
I have no report for the Law Committee at this time, and I would like to be excused.
Go ahead. Thank you, Councilwoman Collins. Go right ahead. Next, next report is Human Resources, Councilwoman Holt.
I do not have a report tonight, thank you.
Any questions for Councilwoman Holt? Hearing none, Councilwoman Holt, I have no items on the agenda for you. If you have, do you have any to add?
No, I do not.
Next report is Intergovernmental Relations Communications. This is my committee. I have no report. I would answer any questions if there are any, and I would go backwards for a minute to Mr. Burns, Community Development, and ask him to give us, I think he has some information regarding the joint school board and council meetings upcoming.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We will have a joint school board and council meeting on April 27th at 6:30 at the school board building, as well as May 18th here at the municipal building at 6:30. The May meeting has been moved up because of the pending graduations and things of that nature that are in May, so that we can still have that meeting and continue that collaboration.
Okay, thank you, sir. The next item on the agenda is item number 6, the mayor's report. I do not have a report at this time, but I would answer any questions if there are any. Hearing none, we go to item number 7, city manager's report, and Mr. Hodges.
Thank you. I'd only report that we're working on the next issue of the Progress newsletter. We've completed departmental reports, placed them on file with the Clerk of Council for public inspection. And we've had our staff meeting today, and all departments indicate that things are operating smoothly, so there's no particular issues to report. But that would complete my report. I would respond to any questions if there are any.
Any questions for the city manager? Hearing none, thank you, Mr. Hodges. Next item on the agenda would be item number 8, other reports. The first of those being our law director, Mr. John Wyckoff.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. By now, you all have probably received my opinion regarding the appointment of an individual to economic development. commission and whether there exists a conflict or not. If you have any questions regarding my opinion, please let me know. Most recently, this evening, I met with Sergeant Carr and our Community Development Director, Chris Anderson, to discuss a problem we continue to have with a certain individual in this city and his refusal to keep his dogs confined. As a result of that meeting, I can assure council and city manager that we are going to aggressively cite this individual, even if it ends up being 20 citations a month. We're going to cite him because we believe the judges in Hamilton County Municipal Court are sick and tired of him. And we think we can get some enforceability now that they've seen how many times he's already been convicted and he continues to just ignore our laws and the safety of our citizens. And speaking of the safety of citizens, I'll be proposing by email to our clerk an amendment to 96.191A2. That's under the definition of dangerous dog, and we notice that a dangerous dog now defined is only a dog who kills another dog. But this individual's dog has recently killed a cat. So I am going to request an amendment, if you would consider that perhaps at your next council meeting, just a simple definitional amendment that any domestic animal, including but not exclusively a dog or a cat. And that should cover anybody's animal, even if it's a pet rabbit in the backyard that gets mauled by a dog. So that's the end of my report, unless there are any questions.
Any questions for our Law Director? Hearing none, thank you, sir. Next report would be our Clerk of Council, Mrs. Hoffman-Dirksen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to report that resolution number 09-2017 was posted as required, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions for Clerk of Council? Hearing none, the next item on the agenda, item 9, is new business. Is there a motion? Mr. Barnes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to suspend the rules requiring the reading in full on 2 separate days and read for the first time by title only, ordinance number 02-2017, as this ordinance has been posted 6 days prior to the meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we suspend the rules requiring the reading in full on 2 separate days and to read for the first time by title only, ordinance numbers 02-2017. Is there a discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on the motion to suspend?
Burns,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Southall.
Yes.
The motion to suspend the rules passed 5-0. Next item on the agenda is item A, ordinance number 02-2017. Would the clerk please read that ordinance by title only?
Ordinance number 02-2017, an ordinance establishing a miscellaneous fee schedule for the city of Forest Park.
Is there a motion? Councilwoman Herbie.
I would move to adopt ordinance number 02-2017.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we adopt ordinance number 02-2017. Is there?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, it's the first reading.
No vote?
Oh.
Okay.
Do we,
So we will read it and we're done, and then next time we'll.
Okay, so we don't need to do any of the amendments or anything tonight. Thank you. Okay, so this is a first reading. This item will be on the agenda for the meeting on May 1 for a vote. Let's move down then to item B under new business, a motion. Councilwoman Herbie.
I would move to receive the general fund summary report as contained in the departmental reports.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we receive the general fund summary report as contained in the departmental reports. Is there any discussions?
No, sir.
Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of voting aye.
Aye.
I had a brain lock. All those opposed, no. Motion passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item C, a motion. Councilwoman Holt.
I'd like to make a motion to convene to an executive session to discuss labor relation matters.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we convene into executive session to discuss labor relations matters. Is there any discussion?
No.
Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adjourn into executive session?
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Southall,
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
The motion to convene into executive session passes 5-0. We are now going to go into executive session. No official business will be taken during that executive session. When we are done, we will return here, and there will be a motion to adjourn the executive session and reconvene into the regular meeting. After having done no business, I will adjourn the meeting, the council meeting. So at this point, we are going to convene into executive session.